and welcome to World Tanks with me, Jet the Ripper. And I never got a video specifically out on this, the King Dragon or whatever the hell it was called. But I did get a chance to play it, and I mean, I've got a few games and I was planning on doing a review. But at the time, I didn't have the connection, and I didn't do it. Let's just leave it at that. But it did bring up some thoughts for me, and so one of the things I'll go into at the moment that it happens. It comes up to do with the general accuracy and how. I'll talk about it in the meantime, but you'll see there's a very specific example or a couple of specific examples of why that occurred to me. But also the fact that Wargaming keep missing opportunities, in my opinion. Specifically Wargaming NA. And Wargaming NA is Chicago, Baltimore. I don't even know if they still have a San Francisco office. And it's important when people... I do say quite a lot of negative things about Wargaming NA. But I need to specify that it's specifically the console section. I'm aware of some of the massive cock-ups on PC side as well, usually involving around NA and people being told this is under NDA, you can't talk about this, do not show it, and then a member of Wargaming's own staff going on their own live stream using their own personal account and then showing it off. I don't know. I'm not really sure why said person would do that, and I've actually been in a room where said person denied that. But, you know, video and the internet, I'm not really sure how on earth anyone can even try and deny it. Anyway. So, this is the King Dragon, and you see this has some better on-the-move handling. It has some better... Basically, it's just slightly better gun handling. I mean, you're not really gaining anything else. It's not faster, overly. It's not necessarily much more maneuverable. There's not enough really happening to this thing to justify Tier 10 matchmaking compared to a Type 59. I'm aware on PC chances are there... Actually, to be fair, not really. I was about to say, most tanks now that come out and have pref matchmaking... Sorry, that don't have pref matchmaking, all have more than 200 pen on their guns. Which makes me wonder if eventually things like the T-44 and all that are going to get higher pen, Pershing, etc., etc. But who knows? Anyway, you don't need a lot. Actually, no, the pattern KR doesn't, but, you know, you get the idea. It doesn't take a lot to make this... you know, something that should see Tier 10. And I would have really liked to see something quite interesting. And I'm sorry if you hear clicking noises now, because I'm obviously on my computer. So I would have really liked to see one of the two guns off the WZ-120. So, right, if we think about it, we already have the T-34-3. Now, what's the T-34-3 special thing? It's derpy. It hits you hard with a 390 Alpha gun. That's quite fun. Now, what's the Type 59's thing? Well, it's got a bit of gun depression, and it's got a 100mm gun, so it keeps firing a bit more. But again, it's still relatively derpy. So we're trying to create a premium tank that's going to see Tier 10. It's a Chinese medium. It needs to have something that stands it apart from these other two, because, yeah, now that technically means it probably should be better than these other two. You might think, well, why is that? Well, it's going to see Tier 10. Then it's going to be top tier less often. Now, if it's going to be top tier less often, when it is top tier, it should be a little bit better than the things that don't see those sort of things. Because Type 59 doesn't have to see Tier 10, so it doesn't need that ability. Now, my ideal solution, and what I would have loved to have happened, is for it to get the Tier 10 gun, but a nerfed version of it. Now, the WZ-120 has a 122mm gun that has 249mm of pen, 440 alpha, and then a .38 accuracy and 5 rounds a minute. That would be very, very OP down at tier 8. It's a very, very good gun. It's essentially the gun that you get on something like the Yahtzee. Or whatever the hell the full name is, WZ-120 something FG or something like that. So what I would like to see is that gun, same pen, so still 249, still 440. I think the 340 heat pen, bit ridiculous. I'd take that down, maybe make it 300. I'm aware that probably doesn't sound like much of a difference, but it might be the difference between, you know, a pen or not a pen on, say, like a mouse's front cheek, etc., etc. I would take the accuracy down from 0.38, so up, but making it worse, from 0.38 to somewhere like 0.45. So, and you think, oh, well, that's a terrible, no one can hit with that. Well, it's okay on the T100 LT, apparently, so why not? And then I would take the reload from 5 rounds a minute, which is about 12 seconds. Well, it is 12 seconds. I'd take that to about 3.5 rounds a minute. The resulting of that would be you've got a tank, it hits hard. Everyone, you know, that's a good thing. It hits hard. It's got a nice punchy gun. It's got the pen to deal with those tiers. It's got the alpha to just pop out and do damage and then disappear again. I mean, to me, that seems like a really good thing. I mean, the other alternative is to run the 100mm gun. But the thing is, I think that's going to be harder to balance. Because the 100mm gun, I mean, it's 215 pen, 320 alpha, 0.38 again, but 7.32 rounds a minute. At that point, for me, that's too close to what you've already got. I think... So you've got the derpy option, which is only really ever going to see its own tier, and tier 9, the T-34-3. That's great, derpy, everyone... It's a bit of a laugh, I mean, and the DPM on it is surprisingly good when you think about it. For that size gun on that tier, that's a great DPM. Now I'm talking about smashing that DPM, making it way, way lower. And using the using the higher pen, higher alpha gun. So, you know, you're only going to be firing, like, what's going to end up being like 17, 18 seconds. You're not going to be getting a lot of shots off. But when you do hit, you're going to hit quite nicely, quite hard. I think that would be quite cool. I think that would work. Now, not getting that shot off is actually going to potentially, is pretty much going to cost me the game. Spoiler alert. But yeah, just a slight lack of gun depression. So this thing still doesn't have a huge amount of gun depression. And I just feel like they've missed an opportunity. And this is not the first time they've done this. They've brought out a number of other tanks. And they always just seem to just... You know, they just don't do enough. You know, they'll do, oh yeah, we've done this. And you're like, oh, that's a good start. What else are you going to do? Just that. What? So take the Banshee. What I would have loved to have seen... and I'd love to see it in the tech tree. So the Comet doesn't make sense. If you go through that tank line, there is a progression in guns of them getting better and bigger caliber, and then suddenly you don't with the Comet. And it's weird because on the Centurion you do have that 17-pounder as one of the low-end guns. Now, why on earth is that not available on the Comet? And you're like, oh, historical accuracy. Yeah, like they give a rat's ass about historical accuracy. It's nice every so often to be able to try and appeal to that side of things, but do that with some of the weird special premium tanks. Don't do that with Tech Tree, where this is a game that is more about fun. It's about balance. If you want the realism, people can just go games more like War Thunder, which I think when that does come to Xbox, which I think I saw someone playing it today kind of weirdly, but I'm not really sure how. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised and are going to find out that it's not what they wished for, because people like Circumflexes at one point when War Thunder was kind of bringing its tank thing, talked a lot about it. A lot of YouTubers who usually do World of Tanks said, yeah, this is going to be pretty much the end of my World of Tanks career. You know, we'll all be moving over to War Thunder. It's so much more realistic, so much better, blah, blah, blah. And then it came. It had a few weeks in the glory and then massively dropped off, because all these World of Tank players who are used to poking, taking a hit and being like, oh, better pull back, and then managing to kill someone because they've got more health, suddenly found that it didn't matter if there was 4 of them trying to rush on one guy. If he was a better shot than them, he's probably going to kill them all. You know, things like that. And so things had to change. And so I don't think we're going to get the same level. Hopefully it'll mean that console start getting off the bum a bit and doing a bit more. But the point is more that it's about this whole missed opportunity thing. And they've done it again with the Banshee. I would have loved to have seen, say, put the 17-pounder on it, but then take it down to 10 degrees of gun depression. Because, I mean, that fits in with the line. You've got a better gun, you've got the 10 degrees of gun depression. Everything fits the line. It makes sense as a move. So, anyway. On top of that, though, we've got some very... I'm trying to think of more examples. But I'm sure you can all think of something where they've brought out either a reskin. So I thought they had the right idea with the Vindicator Charioteer. So with the Vindicator Charioteer, they brought out a tank that had... What was it? It had the 20-pounder rather than the 105. But it was a buffed 20-pounder, so it was better than the standard one. Now, that was nice, but I felt like it just didn't do enough. Because if you played that tank, it was still very, very mediocre. It didn't consistently do enough. Realistically, if you want that, what you want is you want it to be able to really... if you're getting a 20-pounder, you want it to be able to, really do damage. Well, it's not got the gun depression to do it. It's got almost no gun depression. It's not got the rate of fire to do that. It's not got the health to do that. It's not got the accuracy to do that. And even if it did have the accuracy means so goddamn little on this game. And I have perfectly timed that because what we're going to see here, so keeping this guy tracked. Now, realistically, this guy should have killed him. I think he fired a shot early. Fully aimed shot, not moving, hits the dirt. And you saw earlier, I think it was at the top of an AMX M4 or something, had the tiniest bit of a shot at distance, over a hill, blah, blah, blah. Now, realistically, I should have shot the side of his turret because I would have penned it and everything would have been fine and dandy. Now, in the end, I won't lie, I'm going to get bored. Now, this guy's now got one shot left, and you're going to see basically me just kind of poking for a while. He may have been on a reload, I don't really know. But I eventually get bored. I'm trying to, like, kind of get him into shooting. He either has one shot left or he's on a reload here, and obviously I'm on a one shot myself. It was a bit of a risk. I say in the end I'm going to get bored. But yeah, I think this tank was another missed chance. I have another game on this that I might use for what did I do wrong, because I could have won it and I didn't. This one is just I got bored. It's pretty simple. It's not real what did I do wrong. It's just I got bored of playing chasey round the sandbags. And eventually I go over and there we go. He just had more patience than me, and I was still annoyed from having missed the first shot. But yeah, I don't know if anyone agrees with me on this. I'm okay with them. A lot of people complain about them spamming out premium tanks. A lot of the time, it doesn't make a difference. It's going to be a guy who in the art department who's doing very little else is going to do a skin or whatever. And if he's doing it authentic to something real life or something kind of cool, I'm okay with that. But make them interesting. I mean, there is. Do you know what I mean? Find something that doesn't exist, something that would actually be cool to add to the game, and make it that. As long as it's balanced. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and as always, I've been Jack the Ripper, and I'll see you on the battlefield.